Hey, welcome to Two Guys Garage. This truck has had a steady diet, well, of other trucks. Right. 300,000+ miles on this rig.
That's just adolescence. It has a whole adult life left, but you know, it is a little tired.
Tired, wore out, beat up.
That's right, but we're here. We got some serious hardware. We're gonna deep dive into the world of combustion diesel engines. Stick around.
Let's get it. Have you heard that expression, I beat the brakes off that thing? Literally, man, this truck, it's got hard starts, right? It's got rough idles. It's a fleet truck, and we all know how well fleet trucks are taken care of.
Not so much, because you want to keep them on the road and not in the shop making you money, right? So,
Amen.
Yeah, so this one's going to need a lot of work. We got some general wear and tear items, but we also have some diagnostics that we have to figure out, like why it doesn't start sometimes or slow start. So why don't we start on there? Now the good thing is we've got a lot of goodies from ACDelco to help us do the job and do it right. So why don't we start on this whole, slow starting condition, see if we can get that tackled, and we'll move on from there. All right, we got two clues with the diagnostics, right?
Yep.
We got a P0300 code, which is a misfire. So that could be something mechanical, like you're not getting compression, valves, a cam, or it could be something more in line of like an injector.
Yep.
But we also have this hard starting. So as we focus on that first, the hard starting is typically, we need our glow plug, which in combustion terms for a diesel is kind of like a spark plug, but it's just creating heat so we can get that thing to light off.
Hey, a lot of heat, super fast, right at the tip, inside the chamber.
Yeah, so if we're not getting that, we're not gonna get that quick fire off. So the first thing we're gonna do is just eliminate all the glow plugs as a problem, because it's an easy test, right?
Sure, and let me show you how to do that, man. All you need is a test light, right? And this guy just slides right in here, if you could follow along. So it just slides right in here in the chamber. Just this tip is gonna hang down in the chamber, heat it up super fast. But a real easy test on these guys is just to check for continuity. So you get a test light, put it on the positive side, and let's go searching for some glow plugs. So if you look at this guy right down here, I'm gonna just test this. Look at that, I got light, got continuity, that one's good. Let's move over to the second one here. Got light, got continuity, that one's good. Now watch what happens with this guy. Say what?
So we've got a break in there somewhere. We're not getting continuity, it's not gonna light off. So that dead cylinder from a heat perspective, when you start to fire it, it's gonna be difficult, slow starting.
Right, another way of, if that thing's spitting raw fuel, you got a glow plug issue.
Yeah, so I think the thing to do is pull that guy out, replace it, then we can go back to maybe looking for that, misfire code.
Yeah, and not only that, if we have an extra one laying around, which I think we do, maybe we could light it off on the table or blow it up, huh?
Let's blow some stuff up.
That's what I'm talking about. All right. Now we're really fortunate to have ACDelco glow plugs. They operate at a higher voltage than any other glow plug on the market. They're a GN regulating type coil inside this actual glow plug. And what that's gonna do is regulate that voltage from the battery so it doesn't overheat. Now that's exactly the test I'm about to show you. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I've got a 12-volt source, okay? Got it hooked up to the negative, a little positive here. And as soon as I touch this guy to my positive, you're gonna see this tip go to about 1800 degrees in an instant, in a second, all right? Literally, this thing gets cooking crazy fast. Now look at this, boom. Now you'll see that tip go all the way down into the plug, and that's the exact same thing that's happening inside your combustion chamber. Kind of cool, right? You ever seen a glow plug operate?
Hey man, I heard you were grilling and I brought some mini sausages.
Yeah, man, I got that.
I like mine spicy. All right, man, let me get back to work.
Yeah, man.
Hey, you guys follow me over here. We got some more diagnostics. All right, now while Willie's over there cooking us some lunch, I got the old glow plug out and the new one in. Now, this is actually part of diagnostics for this engine. Now, if you put current in here, it's gonna heat up the tip, right? Like we just showed you. Well, that changes the resistance. Well, the computer is actually following the resistance of each one of these, and it's using it for diagnostics. So if it's running cold, the resistance is saying, hey, I probably have a misfire. So now that we fixed that one glow plug, I ran the engine again, and I got a new code telling me specifically which misfire cylinder it is, and it's number 3. So I got a P0303. So that really dials me in to this injector right up here. So I'm gonna dig in there, pull that guy out, show it to you on the bench. Hey, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna dive headfirst into more of this diesel injector technology.
It's not impossible to see a car with an original CV joint after 300,000 miles, but the most common failure in a CV joint happens when the protective boot starts to crack. Once the boot cracks, moisture and dirt get inside, causing the CV joint to wear faster and rust. Condition and lubricate these CV boots before they crack with Blaster Silicone Lube. Apply a thin coat to preserve and protect surfaces like plastic, wood, rubber, vinyl, and leather. The high concentration of silicone means one application will last a long time. You can even use Blaster Silicone Lube on truck door seals to keep them from freezing shut. This tip is brought to you by the Blaster Corporation, makers of PB Blaster, the #1 selling penetrant for breaking free rusted parts.
Hey, welcome back to our 2005 Duramax diesel project. Now, this girl has over 300,000 miles, but she ain't done. Now, we are fixing a misfire problem, and that's a result of this injector. Not this one, but the old one. Let me show you how this thing works. So you got fuel coming in here, typically on a PFI engine, 55, 85 PSI. This guy's riding at 4,000 to 22,000 PSI. And it's squirting out this end at a holes that I can't even see, typically around 9, 11, really fine mist, so you get good clean combustion. Now this one we've torn apart, so you can see the solenoid right here that sits on the back. Now that's disconnected from the needle that's in here that opens and lets the fuel flow. So what it's doing is it's opening, letting the fuel run down the body, and actually somewhere midstream of this injector, it pushes and opens it from a spring-loaded position and lets the fuel squirt out the end. Now this little fella right here, sometimes a ball, in this case, little bitty cylinder. Now that's what's being rammed in 2 to 10 times per cycle, per combustion event. So this guy will wear out and is probably the culprit for why this guy has gone bad. Now you can see this is a reman, so somebody's already replaced it and it's already gone bad. So a good reason to use a quality name like ACDelco to throw it in there and do it right. Now I'm going to get this one, actually the new one, back in the truck, and then we're going to keep on moving because I see some kind of old cruddy brakes sitting right here. We've got to fix those too.
All right, like we told you, over 300,000 miles on this truck, mainly all on these rotors. Huge lips on these things. They're hammered. Let's get them off the truck. In comes ACDelco Professional Series rotors. Big difference. This heat dam right here, one of the big major differences. Now this is going to actually keep that heat out here on the rotor and out of these veins right here where you want that heat so it disperses, right? Where you want to keep it away from is this hat, which is coated with this bonded material. It's going to help that heat management anyway. So another thing I want to show you is just the veins in here. Now a lot of you will probably be suspect to what's called lightweight rotors. Now be careful when you're out buying rotors because what's happening are guys are skipping out on this material, this mass right here, which is going to help, again, protect you from that heat damage. And what they're doing, spreading these veins out a little bit so when you first look at the rotor, it appears the same thickness, but not at all the same amount of material as something like this ACDelco Professional Series. ACDelco is OE standard and actually improved with things like this heat dam. Now we got to get this guy up on here.
All right, I leave him to do all the heavy muscle work, and I'm going to show you, even though this isn't the cooking channel, a little bit about spaghetti, or some people call brake pipes or brake lines. Now this truck is great because it's been in the south, so all the lines are in pretty good condition, nothing's corroded, but most of you guys that are up in the north, or even you guys that are sort of towing maybe boats in salt water, you're dipping in that corrosive environment, you can wreak havoc on the underside of your truck. Now what's cool is ACDelco has, on these trucks from 99 and up, all the lines pre-bent, ready to go, which saves you a ton of time and money and energy just to get them replaced. It's much safer because you're not splicing in somewhere where you shouldn't. And what's cool is they're upgraded. They've got a traditional copper lining in here, traditional coating on the outside, but they're a double layer with a nylon coating on them, so they're going to last forever. Now, we're going to get this done. These I don't need, thank goodness, but we're going to take a break. We got more goodies to show you on the technical side. Brakes are one of the most critical safety items on your car. Now, if you see the brake light appear on your dashboard or it feels like the vehicle's taking longer to stop than it should, it's time to have your brakes serviced. Now, scraping and squeaking noises that come from the wheels when you hit the brake pedal, that's another sign of brake wear. But it's not just your pads and shoes that wear out. Brake hardware also wears out over time. In fact, brake noise is usually caused by the vibration of the components that are not properly installed or secured. Now, typically it's not the fault of the actual brake pad or shoes, but it can be more likely caused by worn out brake hardware. Now, brake hardware includes all of the supporting components that help align the brake pads and retract them away from the rotor. Or in the case of the drums, they actually pull the shoes away from the drum. Now, from clips and bolts and springs to rubber bushings and seals, your brake hardware is integral to your entire braking system for smooth, reliable, and quiet brake performance. But the hardware won't do its job if the parts are corroded or stretched. The drum brakes and disc brakes each have their own set of problems when it comes to wear. Because they're inside an enclosed system, drum brakes don't dissipate the heat as well as disc brakes. The heat weakens the springs, causing them to stretch and lose tension. Now, this leads to more brake drag and vibration or noise. As the rubber components in disc brakes dry out and crack, they can also let in moisture that corrodes the springs. This is creating uneven brake wear and unwanted noise. Your caliper hardware can also lose 50% of its spring tension over the course of 1 or 2 years, which causes the pad to ride against the rotors. Now, even if you replace your brakes, old brake hardware can cause new pads to wear out prematurely. So you want to make sure you replace your brake hardware when you're doing a brake job. Now, you can pick up a brake hardware kit like this one from Carlson, available at Federated Auto Parts. For a few extra dollars, you'll be protecting your investment in new pads and new shoes, and you'll know your brake system is performing at its very best. Now, we're still cranking away on our 2000 Duramax diesel. This guy has over 300,000 miles on it, and I'm going to show you a little tip to save you some money. Now, this is the fuel module. Now, this guy doesn't have a pump in it. Like a typical PFI engine, that high pressure diesel pump sitting on the engine is actually pulling all the way up there. But it does have a lot of features in it, and if you have to replace the whole thing, it's rather expensive. Now, sitting on this is your fuel gauge sending unit. Now, this is basically a little rheostat. It's printed on there with a special coating that changes resistance with the level of fuel. But what happens is over time, sulfur can eat away at this printing, and it can make you kind of read maybe a 1/8 fuel no matter how much fuel you have in there, so it can really leave you stranded. Well, not replacing the entire assembly from ACDelco, you can get just this little sending unit, and it literally clicks right in there.
How many times does it happen to you? You're in your four-wheel drive, maybe you find some happy mud, a little snow or something, you hit the button and all you get is a blinking light. It won't go into four-wheel drive. All right, you were bamboozled by the 4WD, hoodwinked by the actuator. Well, that's the problem. Something like this, it's obviously got a road miles and a lot of grime, dirt, debris, water, and so forth. This guy has gone bad. We noticed that right out of the gate. Fortunate for me, we got the drive shaft out, and this thing is ready just to pop right out of here. Now, this is the four-wheel drive actuator, the dirty little sucker too. All right, now this is exact OE replacement from what was on the truck, brand new. All right, now want to clean the seal up here, but nothing to it. Save yourself some money getting it done yourself. Again, factory plug-in, all good to go, exact same thing. And this replaces that old lever that you used to shift for all of us old-timey guys. So we'll get this thing back up in here, bolted in, and hopefully that will solve our four-wheel drive issue. One bolt, two bolts, and three. Now, carbon buildup is a common problem in all engines. It can cause damage to internal parts and rob your engine of power. But on top of that, your fuel system is also susceptible to corrosion from ethanol fuel. Because ethanol fuel is biodegradable, it has a tendency to attract and contain water. Now, this means ethanol is attracting the water in the fuel and creating moisture, which leads to rust in your fuel system, causing corrosion from the inside out. Now, one simple way to clean out your engine and fuel system and protect it from corrosion in the future is by treating it with Z-Max Micro Lubricant. The molecules in Z-Max are smaller than regular oil molecules, so you can reach your engine internal parts, actually soaking into the metal to break up the carbon and other harmful deposits and lubricate them to prevent future damage. Z-Max is also designed to clean out your fuel system and help reverse the negative effects of ethanol gas. The result is better gas mileage, more power, and a smoother running engine with fewer emissions. You can use Z-Max with any kind of oil, monograde, multigrade, and synthetic, and it works in both gas and diesel engines. To get the most benefit by adding Z-Max into your fuel system, you should let your engine run for a while those parts heat up, metal molecules move around. That allows micro lubricant to soak in and really go to work.
This tip is brought to you by Z-Max. Performance you can feel.
Larry Rook's 1977 Ford F-150 is a family heirloom. It represents 2 generations and the start of a third as part of this family's history. Larry's dad bought the truck new before Larry was born. When Larry turned 16, he and his dad got it back to great running condition. And despite a burnout in the high school parking lot that ended in a week's detention, the truck served Larry well throughout high school and college. When Larry met his wife, the truck took him out on their very first date. And when their son was born, they brought him home from the hospital, in that old Ford F-150, which as it turns out was exactly how Larry's parents had taken him home from the hospital after he was born. Needless to say, this truck is not for sale. Read more about Larry and his 1977 Ford or share your truck journey at lmctrucklife.com.
If you have a newer diesel truck, it's essential to add diesel exhaust fluid to help reduce nitrous oxide or NOx in your emissions. ACDelco's diesel exhaust fluid is a mixture of high purity synthetic urea and deionized water. It helps to convert nitrous oxide into harmless nitrogen in water and keeps your diesel engine running smoothly. This high quality formula is non-flammable, non-toxic, and it meets OE specifications for use in both GM and non-GM diesel vehicles. Plus, it doesn't contain any chemical additives or other components that could cause selective catalytic reduction system failure. It comes in a 1 gallon or 2.5 gallon package with a vented nozzle that makes pouring easy and prevents glugging. These are Anco wiper blades. Every 6 months, you want to be sure to inspect your wiper blades to see if they need to be replaced. If the blade rubber is cracked or torn or worn, or if you're experiencing persistent streaking or chattering or skipping as they wipe, it's time for a new blade. This is an easy replacement that keeps you much safer on the road, and it takes very little time, especially with Anco's Quick Connect system. You just have to snap them into place. These wiper blades are also made with an advanced rubber, DuraClear Plus. It's a compound that provides consistent, streak-free wipe. And don't forget about that rear blade. Anco's got you covered there too. Pick up your new wiper blades at your local Federated Auto Parts store. These are the Xevo Pulse lights from Sylvania Automotive Lighting. This is a really cool and easy way to customize your car or truck. The Xevo Pulse is a customizable LED light that transforms your headlights with tons of LED color options. It actually is controlled by Bluetooth. All you have to do is download the free Xevo app on your mobile device. Then you can program your lights to a color theme, or you can even set the lights to pulse to the beat of the music on your mobile device. Or turn on the microphone and you can get your lights to respond to the background music of your party or the sound of your voice. The app can control multiple pulse controllers. So once you install your lights and set them up on your Xevo app, you can activate different combinations of lights, or even run them all at the same time. From Race Ready Performance, these are the Patriot Series electric exhaust cutouts designed for performance and durability. This full metal cover is going to keep you race ready for years to come. The billet aluminum housing ensures a positive seal from the cutout valve body to the exhaust piping. And the high quality torsion spring keeps your exhaust cutouts free from rattling or leaking. Not only do these cutouts look great with their new race ready red color, but they sound great too. With the push of a button, you can take your car from stock sound to race-ready loud. No need to ever crawl under the vehicle again to release that racetrack exhaust. It's the perfect exhaust upgrade for any car or truck, and it's all made right here in the USA.
For more information about anything you've seen in today's show, check out mavtv.com or visit our website at twoguysgarage.com.
Hey, welcome back. Now, the last thing we have to do on this truck to help it get that, cold starting is some new batteries and apparently a workout.
Yeah, man, we missed the gym, so.
Well, you catch up with me. 109?
109,
Yeah,
2,
110.
3.
All right, so these guys are gonna have the cranking amps to turn this motor over faster, get it lit off quicker. That's why we have 2 batteries in a big diesel truck like this, really high compression.
Yeah, man, and a couple things to point out. 800 code cranking amps, that's nice. Another number you want to be aware of is this little 115 RC. Now that's reserve capacity. Super important. Now it basically means it draws 25 amps for about 115 minutes. You can leave your headlights on, side markers and everything for like 115 minutes. Pretty awesome.
Well, now we got 2 batteries, so about 4 hours almost. But that's important because modern vehicles, right, they have 50 to 100 processors on them. Modern GM cars have up to 7 Wi-Fis going on. So
Crazy.
You got to balance the cold cranking versus the reserve capacity, but check your owner's manual to know that.
Yeah.
Now these are great because, right, awesome construction, super durable for a truck like that. And what's cool is ACDelco, they obviously supply GM as OE, but they're also the biggest non-GM
right.
for applications out there. So we're gonna get these things in. This guy is just about ready to go out for some test driving again.
Yeah.
So we'll see you guys next time. We're out of time.
Take care.
Two Guys Garage is brought to you in part by Federated Auto Parts. Best parts, best people, best service. Vehicle transportation provided by Pilot Transport, auto hauling specialists. Professional POV cameras provided by Replay. Record, replay.